Hello, my name is Nyx or Nicole, and at the start of 2024 I left my job and went full-time running my art business SwirliNyx. Let me show you how I started and grew my art channel and my social media. A lot of what I do involves not just creating art but filming and posting it online, so you guys can take a peek at what I do behind the scenes. The thing is, creating content is one of the most crucial parts of being an artist. For me, this is an important step in marketing my product and showing you guys my story and my journey behind the scenes. I started with my very small Instagram account and now I have over 11,000 followers on there, as well as my growing YouTube channel, which was monetized in 2024. Even as a smaller channel, I have had multiple brands reach out to me for collaborations. So it's not just about the numbers, it's about the audience you cultivate and the value you bring to your little corner of the internet as an artist. I think I might know what you're thinking. It's really hard to be an artist and to remember and learn how to film content for an audience online alongside making the art. It's really hard to juggle it all because even though you're making the art and that is the most important thing, people actually have to be able to see it. There's the filming, the angles, how to edit, what do you talk about, never mind the algorithm. It can get really stressful really fast, and it can even put some artists off trying to build an online presence altogether. However, it's not something you can easily avoid in this modern world if you want to make it as an artist. It's not the only thing you could do, but I would highly recommend it. So I'm going to keep it really simple for you guys to get started and show you what I do while only posting on YouTube twice a week, and I post on Instagram 2 to 3 times a week. You probably already have some kind of vague idea or vision in your head of the kind of content you want to create. Maybe it's inspired by some of your favourite artists that you see online. The main question to ask is, what do you like to watch? I love watching art YouTubers, I watch some small business YouTubers, I like watching draw with me videos, cozy studio vlogs. I love watching art reveals on Instagram, so I'm trying to create more content like that. And then look at your favourite artists, your favourite YouTubers, your favourite Instagram accounts, and look at how they edit and present their work. Are their videos cozy? Are their videos kind of relaxing? Is it upbeat and it keeps you motivated while you're working? I personally enjoy watching channels like Cozy K because I love her vibe, her kind of cozy content and hobbies. It's great to have on in the background. I also enjoy watching small business artist YouTubers like Catnip. You may have heard of Catnip. She runs her own small business that she documents on YouTube, and I like watching that for educational content or just tips for running a business. Catnip also uses a lot of interesting angles and shots and like cute music and sound effects. So really it's important to know what you like about what you watch in the online space. What makes you click a thumbnail on a YouTube video? What makes you click off? What makes you get distracted and click something else? Do you like clickbaity titles? Do you like ones that aren't very clickbaity but look intriguing? What makes you swipe away from an Instagram reel? What makes you stay for the full thing, especially those longer reels or TikTok? If you start asking yourself these questions while you're watching your favourite channels, your favourite accounts, you will start to understand the kind of content you want to make and that you feel motivated to make. Now that you've thought about why you're doing this and what you want to share, it's time to think about what you want your little corner of the internet to look like. Mine was very much inspired by my art brand and my art style, which is kind of like cozy, magical, nature kind of vibes, as you can see from my office. So because I base my space, my studio, from my branding, my aesthetic, my videos naturally become that. I try to make my thumbnails cozy and warm. I use a lot of plants in my backdrops. I use wood textures and warmer colours based on the vibe you want to put out there. This kind of cohesive feel can help your content become more memorable and stand out. When you're thinking about your audience, the main thing I do is think about my audience being myself. So I try and make videos that I personally would want to see other people make, or that I have seen other people make, and I want to put my own spin on it. So my audience demographic is 78% female on YouTube, mainly UK and US based, and mainly in the age bracket of 25 to 34 years old. And guess what? I'm female. I'm 34, but I have the mental age of a 25-year-old. And I'm in the UK. So if that is the majority of my demographic, my audience is generally similar to me. So it is a good jumping off point to start from what you would want to see. Don't overthink what other people want to see, just think about what you like to watch, and the content will naturally come about. So you've got your brand and you've got your aesthetic, you've got your audience in mind. Now you need to think about what topics you want to cover. The bread and butter of my content is studio vlogs because they're mainly what I like to watch. They're authentic, they're very much a good look into the behind the scenes process of what each person does in their small business and make you feel a little bit less alone in what can be a very lonely career choice. I also do the occasional educational video like the one you're watching right now, and I've also dabbled in draw with me content and ASMR videos. It's good to start off with something you really enjoy doing, like I chose studio vlogs, yours might be draw with me's, and then experiment with other pieces of content along the way. And please don't think when you're starting your art channel that you have to be an expert in anything. At the very beginning of my art channel, my first ever vlog was a studio vlog, and that was me basically opening my Etsy shop and basically just sharing my business of reopening an old shop and starting my art business from scratch, kind of, because it's not just about sharing knowledge. There is a lot of value in your experience as a beginner because it's relatable. A lot of people are in the same boat, whether you're a beginner artist or creative in itself, or whether you're maybe a more experienced artist but you have little experience in creating content and putting things out in the world, because that is a totally different skill set that you will just develop over time, and people will admire and respect that journey and growth to getting better, and a lot of people like to see you grow over time. So let's move on to how to film a video and start with the basics. Scripting a video is an interesting thing because it's not for everyone. It depends on the kind of person you are. If you're anything like me, and part of the reason I love making art and I'm an artist is I'm very much an introvert and I'm really bad at verbalizing my thoughts. I tend to get muddled up or go off on ridiculous tangents, and then the videos become really long, like this one's probably going to be. I'm just kind of bad at explaining what's in my head. I'm better at writing things down. I also have a writing degree, so that kind of helps. So with topical videos like this, I will write a general script, but for studio vlogs, I will not write a script because obviously they're just kind of filmed on the go based on what you're doing at the time, and they're kind of supposed to be that authentic, non-scripted look at life behind the scenes of the art business. If you do want to make more purposeful content, even if it's just for short reels for Instagram or TikTok, I will say scripting it ahead of time can be such a huge help because you'll know kind of what the start, middle and ending of what you're trying to say is. You'll know what shots to film. You'll be able to make it a lot more cohesive because you can write a list of like what you need to film, what b-roll you need to get, how you want the video to start and how you want it to end. Like for this video, I've got a list of shots that I'm going to take for b-roll after I've finished talking to you guys. Even if you don't want to go ahead and write a whole script, because I can write for days, I can write thousands of words, it's a little bit of a sickness, but you could just do like bullet points, write out your topics, and it'll just keep you on the right track. The software I used for my scripts is MailerNote. I actually keep my whole business and personal life in here in different boards and sections, and I have a YouTube board that I keep all my video ideas, my schedule, my collabs and dates, and then I also have a document where I put my script. All right, let's move on to equipment. So I just went and made a tea because this section, it's a rabbit hole of information. Okay, look how cute my cup is. Very on brand for the studio. Right, okay. So in terms of equipment, it all depends on your budget and your style of filming. So I film my YouTube videos with this camera here, and I film my reels with my phone. So my camera, I actually bought 3 years ago, and I got it secondhand from someone who was upgrading their equipment, I think. And it is the very popular old vlogging camera, the CANON G7X Mark II, and it has worked perfectly fine for me for the past 3 years. It's light, it's portable, it's reliable. I do think they're harder to get hold of now because it is such an old camera. I think there may be a newer model out there, I'm not sure. But basically what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I've been doing this for years now and I do not use any fancy equipment. I don't really learn a lot of the settings. I just kind of press record. I haven't touched my settings in a long time. I like it the way it is. But in all honesty, you could even just use your phone for vlogging. Depending on the phone you've got, a lot nowadays are very good quality and perfectly good for making YouTube videos. So in terms of filming content on my phone, I have the iPhone 13 Pro. This is hands down the best device I have for my art business. It's small, it's compact, it produces high quality footage, it's got a good camera on it. If you have one of the newer iPhone models, then your phone quality, your camera quality will be even better than mine. You'll have more storage. But I am not planning on upgrading this phone until it's on its last legs because it still does the job. If you've got an older phone, that'll probably do the job as well. But yeah, I'm hoping this will last a few more years because I ain't got the budget to upgrade this phone yet. Okay, let's talk tripods. So I have tried out many different tripods over the years, far too many, and far too many are not good. So these ones that I'm going to show you now are my go-tos. The main one I use for my camera and vlogging is the Victive tripod, which is what my camera is on right now. I love it because it's a decent price, it's sturdy, it's well made, it can go in a range of different heights. It is a little bit bulkier though, so I probably wouldn't take this one traveling. I also have a lighter tripod, which was actually my first full height tripod. It's got different heights in it. It's far more lightweight. This is an Amazon Basics version. This is the one that I would take traveling as it's far more compact and it even comes with a travel bag. I also have this phone stand that I use for my desk. It's got a nice heavy base. This is a great bit of kit for filming overhead shots, especially when I'm packing orders and doing things like that at my desk. So this is called the Viozon overhead stand. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. It's got loads of angles on it and it is just something I would really recommend if you want to do those kind of overhead desk shots. However, this is my favorite little thing and it is the Invisible Snap tripod stand by MOFT, who I'm partnering with to show you what this baby can do. It is so useful for art and business content. If you've already been trying to film your art process, then you will know the struggle. You can't get the right angles, your stand's falling over, it's getting in the way when you're drawing. It can make everything a lot more stressful when you're just trying to sit and get some art done. This tripod has an origami inspired design that's easy to adjust to more than 30 angles in 3 different modes. Floating mode is amazing at capturing close-up shots of your drawing. You can also use different angles on it, and you can also switch to landscape mode. Vlogging modes where you can hold it as a selfie stick or to get that all-important B-roll footage. And lastly, we've got standing mode. You can use that to search for references for your artwork or take some low-angle shots. I think what I really love about it is such a small and cute piece of kit. Like, you can just fit it in your bag when you go traveling. It's inconspicuous if you're wanting to vlog out in public, maybe you're wanting to draw in a cafe. And there's no fiddly buttons or anything to adjust when you want to change or adjust the angle of the tripod. Plus it works with magnetic phone cases, or you get an included magnetic ring, which I put on my phone so that it just snaps on really easily. And also it has cute colours, and obviously I had to get the green one. This tripod had been on my wish list for so long, and then when MOFT reached out to me, I was so happy. They also sent me the iPad dynamic folio case. Now this is their lightest floating creativity station, and in all honesty, at first I thought I wouldn't use it because I always just use my iPad in this wooden stand that I bought, but I thought I'd give it a go, and yeah, I was wrong. This case is really comfortable, it's easy to attach to your iPad, and it has a range of angles. There are 4 modes which can contribute to your working and filming setup. So with it in portrait mode, you can use it to look for art references. It's really nice and easy to scroll on. And then you can change it to the dual screen drawing stand, which has plenty of room for your iPad and your phone so you can look at your references while you're drawing. This is also a great little filming shot to show the behind the scenes of your inspiration and your workflow. The floating mode I love because it's so good for your posture. It's up at a comfortable angle. You can also quickly change from creation mode to theatre mode. Plus, as a little bonus, you can use this mode as a leg mount for those more casual drawing sessions where you maybe want to sit on the couch or you're on the train or something, and it just sits on your knee. It's great. For artists especially, you can get the accessory, the magnetic pencil holder, which is detachable and keeps your Apple Pencil secure. Plus, it's also made from vegan leather, which is just a nice little bonus. Thank you to MOFT for these honestly amazing tools. You can grab some for yourself by using the link in my description below. So for filming, I mainly just use the daylight because usually I'm just filming vlogs and I don't really want to go to the hassle of setting up lighting all the time every time I want to film something. Sadly, my studio is north facing, but I just try and adapt to that as best as I can. The main light I use when I'm doing proper sit down videos and need extra light is my Elgato Key Light Mini. Now I bought this a long time ago when I was streaming on Twitch, but it's a very good light. It's a little bit more on the expensive side, although the price may have come down now. I would highly recommend it. It's got a nice white soft light glow and it is perfect for evening out the light when you're filming. As I said before, I also have my cute aesthetic lamps that I tend to use in the background when I'm filming, like my cute little moon lamp here. I've also got a touch lamp, and I also have a more retro bulb lamp that I tend to use in reels and more short form content. What I mainly like about these and find them important is they create a nice ambience, they create like a nice warm glow, and I'm going for that warm, cozy aesthetic feel for my videos. Now if you've seen my YouTube videos, you'll know that I am no expert, I'm no professional in filming content. I'm very much an amateur and I am an artist first. I don't really know the names of all the fancy shots and things. I just tend to write down the kind of shots that I want to get and then try my best at the time. For example, I'll be filming myself doing small business things like packing orders or doing admin, sorting out stock, and I'll just try and get different angles and different shots, and then depending on the lighting I'll just move things around and do the best that I can. I try not to overwhelm myself when I'm filming because it's easy to get bogged down in making everything look perfect and getting the perfect shots, and then you've got to think about the fact that you're trying to get your work done as well. So a lot of the time you just need to prioritize what you can and do your best. Like when I'm trying to film myself drawing, I'll try and get like an overhead shot, and I want to start trying to get more like shots of my face when I'm drawing. And you want to be careful that when you're doing your side shots, you want to get it when it's not your dominant hand, because obviously you're going to block the camera with your hand, and I have done that before. You are going to make mistakes when you're filming. It's just part of the process, it's part of learning. You do it and you move on. And honestly, filming your face, I know a lot of people, when they're artists, they really want to show their art more than themselves, but it can be really important to show the human behind the artwork. It can help people relate to you more. But honestly, just film what you can, film what you're comfortable with. Maybe push yourself out of your comfort zone and then just go that little bit further each time, and you may be surprised by where you find yourself in a year after doing YouTube for that long. Some other tips for filming would be to be mindful when you're filming and not to film too much, because it will just eat up your storage. Try and be selective and be mindful of the different shots you want to get that you think will be interesting, not just film everything. Okay, so we've got the vision we want, we've got the equipment, we've got the lighting, and we're ready to film. Now it's on to the editing. For some people, including me in the beginning, this is the most daunting part of the process. Editing isn't the easiest thing to do, and there is a learning curve, you just have to accept that. However, it's one of those jobs where you're gonna learn better as you go. I edited my first ever YouTube videos with an app called LumaFusion on my iPad. Now I thought I would enjoy that, it would enable me to edit on the go, but I found the small screen really hard to work with. So eventually I switched to a free software called DaVinci Resolve, and I used it on my PC, and then when I got my Mac, I started using it on there as well. It's funny because I paid for LumaFusion. I can't remember how much I paid, but DaVinci Resolve is free and it is amazing. It is complex, but you can just use the parts that you want to use. You don't have to learn the whole software. It is what I would recommend if you're starting out, especially because it's free, but you could also try iMovie. I've not tried this, but I've heard it's a really good software for beginners for editing. I also use CapCut for my short form content. I do have the app on my Mac, but I tend to just edit my videos on my phone. I've used CapCut for years. I think it was the first app that I ever used, and I don't have any problems with it. It is really good, it's beginner friendly, and it is what I would recommend if you want to make reels and TikToks. So my basic rundown of editing is I start off by cutting and assembling my clips. I tend to do this in stages. So for example, if I've got a convention vlog, I will cut and assemble the clips of the first day of the market. Then I'll do any voiceovers plus the sound effects, like things like this, or like a typing effect like this, and then I'll do the text and I'll do the music last. So I'll move on to the next set of clips, which might be like the convention day 2. I'll do them in that order again, and then I will add the music in. At the end, I will go back through and tighten the edit, cut out any pauses or errors. I'll also use this stage to add in other effects like a zoom in effect or some of my swirly transitions for a bit of extra flavour and interest in the video. However, you do not have to do all of those extra things. It just adds a bit of interest. You could sprinkle in maybe a little bit, but you don't have to go overboard because it's very easy to overdo it. I use Epidemic Sound for my music, and I will leave the link to that in my description. Music, it can be really important for your video because it gives it the overall feel and tone that you're going for. Epidemic Sound has thousands of tracks to choose from, so you can get that right kind of feel, but remember it is a paid service, so keep that in mind. And then a lot of people do this last, but I tend to do it as I go, is colour correction. Each clip does look a little bit different, so just adjust where you can, and then I will usually like copy and paste the colour correction as I go and adjust it if it needs it. What I tend to do is give my videos a little bit of like the aesthetic and branding I'm going for, so I'll warm them up. I up the temperature, give them that warm cozy feel. So here is the regular clip, and then here it is with a colour correction. But as I said with special effects, don't overthink the colour correcting, just maybe up the brightness a bit and get your shadows right kind of thing, and you will be fine. The thing to keep in mind is if you don't want to get too in depth with the nitty gritty of editing, you don't have to, you can keep it really simple. Just use a bit of music, cut your clips down, and you will just get better at it over time. Okay, so the last thing you'll do, but possibly the most important part, is making your thumbnails and your titles. This is the part a person sees first, so you want it to be authentic, but you also want it to be exciting. You want it to be catchy, but you don't want it to be clickbaity. Very hard to find that balance, and it's very easy to feel overwhelmed by doing it. Some of my tips would be to keep it on brand, keep your colours right, make your fonts nice and big so that the text is easy to read on a very small thumbnail, maybe on your phone. And then keep going with those kind of colours and branding assets to make your channel look cohesive. You don't need to over explain much in the thumbnail, just something short and to the point that encapsulates the whole video, and keep your titles short and punchy as well, because sometimes the titles can get cut off on YouTube, so you want the most important parts at the very beginning. So as I said before, with showing your face on camera, it can be really important to have your face in the thumbnail as well. A lot of videos are successful without this, but it is something I would recommend as an artist, because obviously people want to see the person behind the art. What I usually do is I'll usually do a clip at the end of my videos for me just posing in different ways, and then when it comes to editing, I will just go through them, screenshot it, remove the background, and sort of like pick the best one for the thumbnail. It does feel really weird at first to start doing stupid thumbnail poses, and it can feel quite embarrassing, but you're on your own anyway. Just get it done, because often if you don't do this, it can be really hard to grab a still during your vlogging. You can be moving around and pulling stupid faces and things when you're talking, so it is a good idea to do those kind of thumbnail poses at the end. Right, so let's get on to something super interesting, and this is how my experience of monetization is. Okay, so this past year I have had multiple collaborations, and it has been a wild ride. Bear in mind here that I haven't reached out to any brands for collaborations or anything, so I was very surprised when brands started reaching out to me, especially with my channel in the region of 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers, and I'm currently at about 3,300 subscribers at the making of this video. What I've learned is that brands don't really care about your sub count. They're more concerned with your views, your engagement, the niche you're in as well. My channel is very much specific to art and small business related things, so my audience is primarily people looking for small business tips, art advice, and maybe looking for products to help them with things like that. Also bear in mind when brands reach out to you, or if you reach out to brands, that it can be a lot of hard work, but it can be very rewarding as well. So apart from brand collaborations on YouTube, the other form of revenue is YouTube AdSense. To get monetized for this, you will need to get up to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours on your videos. I know that you can also get it through views on short form content, but it's millions of views and it's just kind of crazy. You've got to get it within 90 days, I think, and unless you're absolutely amazing at making short form content, I would just ignore that one. So if you're at the very beginning, even though each video you post might not be doing that well, you can have ones do really well and you can have ones that flop. It's good to keep them there because it all adds up to your 4,000 watch hours. YouTube is a fickle beast, and you may have videos that do really well and kind of go viral. I have a video that has over 20,000 views, and then I have videos very recently that barely get to 500 views. But it all adds up to monetization, and also there's other value in doing this. Your core audience are watching your videos, they're leaving comments, they're following along with your journey. It's not linear. Videos are going to go up and down like this. The main thing to focus on is not the algorithm with things like this. Focus on what your audience wants and what you enjoy making. So as a small creator, my AdSense is really small. I think I barely make maybe 10 to 20 pounds a month at this point, but it's better than nothing. I'm hoping it'll grow over time, and at the end of the day, it's another revenue stream in a career where artists often have to diversify and have multiple income streams. So now I've given you all the info I can on how I started my YouTube channel, how I film my content for Instagram, basically how I get my art seen by the world. So what's stopping you? I have had a lot of comments over the years, and I've also seen a lot of comments on other people's videos of people going, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel for my art, I want to open an art shop, I want to start an art account. And I think You just have to go for it. And I think you'll never be ready and you have to just do it. It's as simple as that. Watching a million videos like this one can be good. You can get a lot of information and advice, but at the end of the day, until you start doing it, which is what happened with me, you'll never get that experience and you'll never get the skills that you're going to need to succeed. As someone who dove into this in 2021 when I was turning 30 years old, I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. I didn't really know what to do, and I knew if I didn't go for it, I never would, especially on turning 30. So my advice would be to not necessarily ignore these kind of videos, because they do provide good advice and value, but set them aside and just do it. Start that art channel, open your art Instagram account, open your art shop, open an Etsy. It will be bad at first. You will make bad product photos, you'll make bad content, bad thumbnails, but you will improve over time, I promise. As someone who has always suffered with perfectionism, you have to really fight it, and the more I fight it, the easier it gets to actually just let things be. Don't try to be perfect in the beginning. It's not going to work. It's probably going to come across inauthentic as well. Just get on with it, put the bad content out there, and you might be amazed at what happens in the next year and then the next year. My ultimate advice is give yourself the grace and the time to start, get better, and enjoy the journey while you're on it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like, comment a camera emoji if you got this far, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, Swirlies.